Up is a session I'm sure will interest a lot of you. It's certainly one that piqued my interest when I read about it. Well, more than piqued, this is new world stuff and I haven't got my head around it, so I can't wait. To speak about the Landcare and Environment Collection, taking Landcare to the global crowd, I'd like to introduce Rob Dulhunty, Chair of Landcare New South Wales. He's a grazier, businessman and community leader. Rob has been part of Landcare since it started 25 years ago. And presenting with Rob today, we also have Crabbe. He's the co-founder of crowdfunding platform Pozible. Alan introduced crowdfunding to Australia and the Asia Pacific and is co-founder and director of Pozible. With his background in web application design, Alan and his co-founder built the Pozible platform, which is used by thousands of creators to fund new creative projects and ideas. Also involved in this session are Rob Youl of Australian Landcare International, David Walk, Chair of the National Landcare Network, and Jenny Quealy and Sonia Williams from Landcare New South Wales. Way you go, Rob.
Thank you very much, Pip. And good afternoon, Landcarers. I'd firstly like to thank Wurundjeri Elder Perry Wandin for his fabulous welcome to country. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on where we meet today and their deep connection to this land. I believe there is enormous potential to build and strengthen the relationship between Landcare and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. This is something that I'm personally committed to. I'm Rob Dulhunty and I'm a producer, as Pip's told you, from northern New South Wales, and I'm a proud 25-year member of Landcare. I'm also the voluntary chairman of Landcare New South Wales, which is a privilege, and Landcare New South Wales is the representative body.
Here. Hi, good. I just had a missed call from...
What's going on? I said something wrong? Press on, right, okay. Landcare New South Wales is the representative body for Landcare in New South Wales, and we provide a voice for up to 3,000 groups and around 60,000 Landcarers in my state. It's really good to be here at the National Conference, and it's great to see a lot of our Landcare friends from right around Australia. This afternoon, we're going to do something special. We're about to launch what I hope will become a game changer. It's a first for Landcare, but it's a concept that reflects Landcare's long-standing tradition of innovation. It's an idea that reflects creativity, ingenuity and passion, and that's the three things that represent our grassroots community movement. This audience does not need convincing that there is a need for Landcare and that need is as strong as ever. But while the need is pressing, the pressure is growing for Landcare to achieve recognition and sufficient funding to enable groups to get on with the job at the local level. The competition for dollars is fierce, whether from community, government, business or philanthropic interests. Despite the challenges, Landcare continues to thrive, as Ian pointed out earlier. Landcare has been around for at least 25 years, and since we're here in Victoria, I should acknowledge that it's actually been around here for a little bit longer than that. But there's also no doubt in my mind that we'll be around for another 25 years at least. The ever-resourceful Landcare community is as passionate as ever, and we're ready to pull together and do whatever it takes to protect and build our movement. Landcare survives because we know it works, and we know Landcare makes sense, and because Landcare networks are our families, our friends, our colleagues, our neighbours and our communities. Whether we're farmers or inner city dwellers, whether we live on the coast, in the bush or in remote communities, we are united by our Caring Hands logo and the Landcare ethic. In New South Wales, a consistent theme from our annual musters has been that there is a strong need to diversify our funding base. Whilst government funding will always be central, Landcare constantly tells us, or Landcarers rather, constantly tell us that fitting into the next iteration of a government policy or program with their ever-changing requirements and obligations is a barrier to volunteer participation. Landcare has felt burdened by the weight of these traditional funding processes with their long lead times, which are resource hungry and time consuming, and which means that Landcare groups and networks individuals and neighbours are often competing for ever-dwindling resources. So in response to these calls from our members, Landcare New South Wales has searched for a solution. We formed a vision to create a digital shopfront where any Landcare group could easily promote their project and where any funding provider could easily shop online to support great community ideas. So our council did some deep and creative thinking about how to make this work, and all our research led us down the one path, and that's an innovative and contemporary approach which uses the emerging worldwide concept of crowdfunding. So, as with all our programs, Landcare New South Wales carried out detailed research and planning. We received some initial support from the New South Wales Landcare Support Program in the Department of Primary Industries, which allowed us to explore this funding conundrum. Our research and development led to a partnership with the global crowdfunding company Pozible. Pozible, like Landcare, started here in Victoria, obviously a place of great innovation. So with Pozible and our partners, the National Landcare Network, Australian Landcare International, we've created the Landcare and Environment Collection. This is a specific portal on the Pozible website for Landcare to display their projects and present them for crowdfunding. Today we're beginning with 25 projects to celebrate 25 years of Landcare in Australia. Once these first 25 projects are launched, it'll then be open to any Landcare and Environment group anywhere in Australia, or the world for that matter, to present their projects for crowdfunding. And today I'm very proud to say that every representative Landcare organisation in Australia is behind this exciting initiative. It's a digital platform that gives grassroots community Landcare a place to tell their story and pitch their ideas to a market previously untapped for the majority of Landcare groups. This simple process enables communities to keep their projects local and puts them back at the centre of project design. This is very exciting for Landcare and for our partners in government, business and philanthropy. We're in the early stages of this project and there is still a hell of a lot to learn, but I'm delighted to announce here today that we have the support of the regional NRM bodies in New South Wales, Local Land Services, and two of the local land service regional bodies have committed pledged funds towards two of the projects that we're launching here today. So that's fantastic. I'd like to thank them. So we will work with those bodies in a pilot to ensure that we can meet any requirements so that government has the confidence to co-invest. I'm also very pleased to announce that Community Mutual is our first corporate sponsor. They'll be supporting some projects in their area of operation in New South Wales. And we've received interest now from a number of philanthropic organisations who see this way to identify and fund local projects, to see it as an easy way to do that. This is not only a platform for fundraising, however. The collection brings broader awareness of the work that Landcarers do. It brings new volunteers, funders, sponsors and supporters together and into the reach of Landcare groups. So what exactly is crowdfunding and what are the benefits? I'd now like to introduce Alan Crabbe, co-founder of Pozible. Alan will talk about the reach and success of crowdfunding and explain how it works. We've got lots to learn from this young and dynamic company, Victorian company, so please welcome our partner in the Landcare and Environment Collection, co-founder Alan Crabbe.
Thanks very much, Rob, and thanks for the invitation to come to the Landcare conference. So my name's Alan Crabbe. I co-founded and started Pozible back in 2010. I pretty much brought crowdfunding to Australia back then. Crowdfunding wasn't even a word, it wasn't even a concept back then, but we came with an idea of actually building a platform for people to pitch an idea, pitch a project to the world. If people want to get behind that project, they can financially back it through the platform in an easy way, and also allow people to share that project to the world. Yeah. So that's just me. Yeah. So since we launched, actually, we have hosted over 7,000 projects in Australia alone, and we've actually distributed over $26 million for these projects that have pitched through our platform. we started this platform as a side project, like probably many of the projects coming out from the Landcare networks. We wanted to use our skills and technology and actually bring about a platform to allow other people like ourselves, creative in nature, in a way to pitch their project or an idea and see if it resonates with people. So where did crowdfunding come from? This is a question that I quite often get asked at conferences, actually. Why did crowdfunding come about and what is it? So crowdfunding itself is really a collective effort of people putting their funds together in large numbers, and it's typically done online or through the internet. This has came about with three major trends we've seen back in about 2009, 2010. One was social media. There's no question. You can see the tweets that were going on in the last session. Twitter is across all media now. It's so vital for the likes of project owners and project creators and businesses and organizations like ourselves to share the word and spread the word about what we do and what we're about. Even back then, 2009, 750 million people were on Facebook and Twitter. Obviously, since then, that's grown again exponentially again since then. But that's one of the key drivers of where crowdfunding came from. Being able to share something really quick and being able to share an experience, share photos, share an idea to people online. The second thing that was crucial to what crowdfunding has become is video. Video has been critical for crowdfunding in a way that people are able to share things in a much more visual and much more effective way to connect with audiences. And back in 2009, 2010, again, people were actually consuming video content on a scale that we didn't ever see before. And thirdly, this is something that's quite overlooked actually, and it's something that always keep in mind: payment innovation. Once payment systems started getting disruptive and innovative with how they do things, it's facilitated platforms like ourselves or marketplaces to be able to leverage that and use it in different ways to actually collect funds or even allow people to sell or pre-sell anything that's connected with a project really, really quickly. So crowdfunding started in the creative industries, very much in the creative industries of being in music and film. And since then, we have seen crowdfunding evolve and change and be used and adopted by many, many different applications. And today, we're excited, actually, to launch the environmental category. We had never even considered it, I must admit, back probably about 9 months ago when Rob instigated a meeting between us. But it was only after a very short time that we realized, okay, environment and the environmental category has all the qualities of a category in a similar way to what we've seen with music and film. The same way as a creative has an audience or a fan base that they can hopefully leverage to get something off the ground. We found, actually, just through the knowledge of what Rob and Jen has shared, the networks and the communities all across Australia and even internationally about being able to get things off the ground and get things happening, which is all part of crowdfunding. So, as I mentioned, we've been working over the last probably 6 to 9 months. After just one meeting with these guys, obviously they had a plan that we didn't know about, but we quickly found that this was definitely a compelling pitch, a compelling use of crowdfunding. And we were super excited, actually, when these guys came to us and said, okay, how do we get this out to our networks? How do we get people actually behind crowdfunding and actually pitching these projects? And the hundreds of projects, we started going through them page by page. And we're like, whoa, that's a lot of projects, you know. So we thought, okay, how do we educate people on how to use crowdfunding? The most savvy people that use crowdfunding use it in a way that they're not even considering the funding element to it. And I'll talk about this in a second. I'm just going to use one example, actually, because I'm sure there's still people in the room that's wondering, okay, what is crowdfunding? What is Pozible even? So Pozible, the platform, is hosted projects, and this is an example of a project. And it was one of the popular projects that was, I think, demonstrated as part of our workshops over the last 6 to 9 months. Madeline here is a 18-year-old organic egg farmer from country Victoria. She came to Pozible and she pitched an idea to purchase or to raise the funds to purchase a machine to clean and to grade eggs on her farm. And when we see this project, we thought, okay, that's an extremely high target. I'm sure we really hope that she knows what she's doing with this. But having looked at some of the rewards and some of the incentives that people are getting out of this ambitious target and ambitious pitch, we realized that, okay, this is something that actually will resonate with people. So through this pitch, she was pre-selling or selling eggs, chickens, pretty much anything that she could pretty much sell through the platform to reach that target to actually raise the funds to purchase this machine. Obviously, this can resonate with a whole network of people, especially urban people, that want to understand where their produce is coming from. And quickly, this got a lot of publicity through the media. And she went on to raise 68,000 from a 60,000 target. And it's safe to say, at this stage, you have to reach your target to receive the funds. That's one item that a lot of people don't understand with crowdfunding. You're pitching to a project, and if it raises the funds, it goes ahead. If it doesn't, the project will not be transacted, and it will be deemed unsuccessful in funding. So just lastly, I want to go through just a few things of why people should be thinking about using crowdfunding. And I talked briefly about people being savvy with crowdfunding these days, and being savvy in the industries like the creative industries. The first thing, think about when it comes to crowdfunding is raising awareness actually for a project. I talked about using social media, using video. These two media are the most crucial media in a way of raising awareness for a project. Second, crowdfunding is a collective effort. So in that, you're already building a community. So think about these two things to start with whenever you're thinking about crowdfunding. Raising awareness for what you do, and secondly, building that community and building that, hopefully a fan base of people that are behind your project. Thirdly, it can be used just simply as a proof of validation. So putting it out there to the people, if it resonates, if that compelling pitch that you've promoted through video or social media is compelling enough, people will get behind it and it will show that it's valid. Fourthly, of course, the funding. Why use crowdfunding if it's not, again, for the funding as well, but using that funding and success to leverage that to get maybe the traditional funding from government or from investment. As we heard in the last session, people like to back a winner, and I think you will see, hopefully through this year collection that we're launching very shortly, you will see the projects that people want to back, and you'll hopefully see in the future that we're seeing at the moment with the creative industry, huge success stories from the funding. So listen, I've went way over time, so, and I'll need to move back and pass it over to Jen. So thank you.
Thanks, Alan. So now I'd like to quickly introduce a lady who's been instrumental in getting this collection off the ground. She's another one of the Landcare legends in the room. Jen Quealy has been around the movement for 25 years, and I'll let her fill you in on the development of the collection, and she'll be followed by Sonia, the General Manager of Landcare New South Wales, and one of the most capable people I know.
Thanks, Rob. And we'll talk quickly, Sonia and I. So once we developed the idea and formed the new partnership for Landcare, the creative energy of Landcare and Pozible together, combined to plan and unleash the idea to the world. So, what next? First, we had to build the pathway to help Landcare anywhere to get involved. We had to create that technical framework, and of course that's very much what Pozible brings. And guiding principles, always keeping one Landcare in mind. Landcare and Pozible then set about using their networks and partnerships to launch that on World Environment Day as a partnership, to let people know about the collection, including the public and agencies and Landcare networks, etc., to create a process for submitting and selecting expressions of interests for the start of the collection, and to create that digital shop front. Since then, we've been mentoring, training, assisting groups across the nation with their project ideas and across the world, and helped with creative strategies to help groups get ready for crowdfunding. It's been a bit of a whirlwind for those involved, but very energising. Pozible and Landcare have assisted groups now online and in person in Australia. We've held workshops and presented at forums in places like Dubbo and White Cliffs and Jugeong and Coffs Harbour and Armidale and Erskineville and Forbes and Broadway, Lismore, Brisbane, Canberra, Adelaide, and of course in Melbourne. And there's a few more that may happen. We know through these workshops that there are many more projects that are just waiting to burst onto the crowdfunding platform, and we'll continue to support and promote these through our networks and in our discussions with potential partners for co-funding. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jen. To undertake and service our crowdfunding partnership, Landcare New South Wales has invested in and developed the back office that supports the administration of this initiative. And I'd really like to thank Kath McLaughlin, who's been our go-to and problem-solving person right through this process. We'll continue to provide the background support and training so that many more groups, regardless of where they are in Australia or the world, can crowdfund their projects. Along with Pozible's ambassadors, Landcare New South Wales has developed online training and can also be contacted to arrange seminars and workshops to help your community learn how they can develop project ideas into a crowdfunding campaign. I invite you to come to our stand during the conference and discuss with us your ideas and work through any questions that you may have. The inspiration, commitment and enthusiasm shown by the partners and our groups in their projects is inspiring. I'd like to now hand back to Rob for the launch of the Landcare and Environment Collection.
Thanks very much, Sonia, and Jen, of course. So now I'd like to introduce you to two of our key partners in this project. First of all, Terry Hubbard. Terry's the chair of the National Landcare Network. The National Landcare Network is the national representative body for community landcare, and they've been supporting this partnership right from the beginning. And then Rob Youl will follow. Rob is the chairman of Australian Landcare International, and with Rob's help we've been able to take this opportunity to the whole world. So I invite Terry to introduce the 15 Australian projects, and he'll be followed by Rob, who'll introduce the 10 international projects. And together these 25 projects kick off the Landcare and Environment Collection as a great way to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Landcare.
Thanks, Rob. This crowdfunding platform allows us to celebrate our history by showcasing to the world the achievements of 25 years of national landcare. It allows us to position our landcare groups back at the centre of innovative project design and delivery, the very factors that historically led to the success that Landcare is proud to celebrate. It is a way for our groups to make use of technology and harness the power of the crowd through social media, and for funding providers to harness this new source with co-matching funds to make shrinking budgets go further. Put simply, the Landcare and Environment Collection provides a means by which to grow our futures. This opportunity will be open to any Landcare group, and as Rob said, support and training is available to help local groups present their ideas for crowdfunding. For the launch, we received over 100 expressions of interest. From these, 25 projects were selected by the state and territory networks of the National Landcare Network. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce 15 of these projects. 1, Plan B. Getting Native Bees and Communities Buzzing in the Central West by Central West Lachlan Landcare. 2, Tracking Bunyip Birds project by the Rice Growers Environmental Champions Program of the Southwest Murray and Murrumbidgee regions. Congratulations. 3, Nest Boxes for Owls by the Brunswick Valley Landcare in New South Wales North Coast. 4, Frog Dreaming, People, Place, Storytelling by Southern New England Landcare, Armidale and Uralla, New South Wales. 5, Finding Nano, the Tiny Southern Pygmy Perch by Holbrook Landcare Group, New South Wales. Well done. 6, Single Paddock Tree Needs a Wife, Corowa District Landcare. 7, The Great Enviro Race, Physical and Mental Scavenger Hunt by Tamworth Regional Landcare Association, Tamworth and North West New South Wales. 8, Saving Albert's Lyrebirds by Wilsons Creek, Huonbrook Landcare, Mullumbimby, New South Wales. 9, Save the Koala by Dr. Courtney Waugh, the University of the Sunshine Coast, Queensland. 10, City Beasts and Gardens by Energetic Communities and Corinda High School, Queensland. 11, Inspire Us and Natify, nice new word, our school, for bugs, bees, birds and lizards by Mitcham Primary School, Adelaide, South Australia. 12, Bandicoot Boosters by the Basalt to Bay Landcare Network. What a ring to that. 13, The Practical Beekeeper, Bringing Back the Bees by Ceres Bee Group, Brunswick, Melbourne, Victoria. 14, The Great Forest National Park by the Great Forest National Park Collective in Victoria's Central Highlands, Victoria. And finally, or 15th, Natural Neighbours, Fabulous Farm Produce and Wonderful Wetlands by the Esperance Regional Forum, Esperance, West Australia. 16, I have to report that the Terry Hubbard Retirement Benefit Fund was unsuccessful. So, we have a range of landcare environment projects from groups interested in birds and other species on farms, in sustainable food production, in environmental protection, native fish, bees in urban and farming landscapes, school projects and farm paddock trees. What a wonderful range of inspiring local projects. Landcare in just 25 years is now truly a global phenomenon, thanks to the many landcarers who have taken their passion for landcare across the world, having helped establish projects and networks in 25 countries. I now have pleasure in handing over to Rob Youl, who is the chairman of Australian Landcare International, based here in Melbourne, to introduce the 10 international projects. Rob.
Thank you, Terry. Around 23 countries, besides Germany and ourselves, have landcare programs right across the world. We tap into traditional community structures. We build new communications networks, fit in well with school programs. Last year, Australian Landcare International, our little group, despite its grand title, we started an Overseas Landcare Projects Fund, and we funded 12 projects in a range of countries. And we're very, very proud of that, and we've learnt a lot in the process. Typical landcare type projects, and we now know a lot about overseas projects, about funds transfers, about probity and reporting. So we've now got readily 10 projects overseas for this crowdfunding platform. This will help landcare grow globally maybe convince governments and big NGOs after so long that we're really good at what we do and we can help with environmental restoration around the world. So thanks very much, New South Wales Landcare and Pozible, for giving us this chance and these new and exciting prospects in the wide world. I'm going to read out the list now of overseas projects, but firstly I want to thank particularly my colleagues Hori Prasad and Vic Mack, Sue Marriott and Mary Johnson, all international Landcare pioneers. So the first of the global projects under this great 25th anniversary initiative, the Lemur Lodge in Madagascar, Habitat Conservation and Research by the St. Lucia Reserve in Madagascar. Number 2, Saving Species and Helping People Thrive by the Deepam Trust in India. Number 3, Bees as Pollinators, an art project by artist Mike Rowland, Los Angeles, USA. 4, Support for Sustainable Fish Hatcheries, the Centre for Sustainability in Palawan in the Philippines. Number 5, Monkeys and Habitat, Landcare Nigeria, in the Ikpa wetlands of southern Nigeria. And number 6, the Batak Tribe Forest Warden Training by the Centre for Sustainability in Palawan in the Philippines. And number 7, brace yourselves, it's the Poo Bank by Sahabat Lahan, Indonesia, the Indonesian Landcare movement in Central Java, Indonesia. Next, our Kiwi cousins, those wonderful people, saving New Zealand's endangered native fish, habitat restoration and youth education by the New Zealand Landcare Trust and the Waikato River. I beg your pardon? What did I say? Oh, fish, New Zealand. Might have to migrate there anyway one day, Andrew. You never know, do you, as this country changes. But I certainly would consider spending half of the year there, as our Cartagenan Colombian friends do. Okay, we're pleased to have Nick Edgar here from the Trust today. The next one is number 9, Farmer Resilience and Livelihoods through Landcare, and it's Landcare Bangladesh. And number 10 is Dreaming Greener Schools by the Foundation Sonia Everdi in Cartagena, Colombia, our friends I just talked about. They spend half the year in their flat about 100 metres away and the rest of the year in Colombia. Sensational. Over to you, gang. Please help us support this great network of projects in whatever way you can. I would have loved more time to explain what's happening, but a lot, in fact, overseas. Thank you very much, Rob.
Well, thank you, Rob, and thank you, Terry, for running us through all those 25 legacy projects to celebrate 25 years of Landcare. So we'll shortly be going live with the collection. So our simple message is that everyone can use this platform, and here's a few ideas of how. Landcare groups, we invite you to place your projects on the platform for the world to see and to tap into the Landcare and Pozible Ambassador Network for support. Staff from Landcare New South Wales are on hand here at the conference, so please feel free to talk to them. Government agencies, philanthropic organisations and other investors, we invite you to go shopping. That's right, go shopping at our new digital shopfront. Support projects that match your program needs, save costs, gain efficiencies, leverage your investments and get more of your dollars on the ground. This initiative delivers on the federal government's policy of simple, local and long-term. The crowd, that's people everywhere. We invite you to look at these wonderful projects and support them, like them, share them and help them get a following. We can all become philanthropists this way. I encourage the Landcare community who are here today to lead the way in getting these projects off to a good start by identifying projects that you would like to support as well. And we have here in the audience today quite a number of people associated with the first 25 projects. I'm going to name them the Landcare crowdfunding pioneers. Could I ask them to stand up, please? And I'd like also all of our partners who have helped us make this possible. Could you all stand too, please? And I'd like a big round of applause as the site goes live, and welcome to the Landcare and Environment Collection. So throughout the conference, we'll track the progress of these 25 projects. So pop into our stand outside to see how the live tracking is going and learn more about crowdfunding. It's easy and it's fun. You can give $10 or you can give $500. That's the beauty of crowdfunding. It enables you to fund those projects that you like to the level that you want and that you can afford. And just as important as making a pledge yourselves is to spread the word about these projects. Tweet or use Facebook or whatever social media you use and let all of your friends know that you've found something worth supporting, and ask them to support it too. And just by the way, I've just got a message through that one of the projects already has over $5,000 since launching just then. So together we can tell the story of ordinary Landcare groups doing extraordinary things, be it our school-based frog dreamers in Youl or our farmers in the Central West, Basalt Bay or in Esperance, our wildlife wardens in the Philippines or our community farmers in Bangladesh. These are all good news stories and we want the world to know about them. So let's put the spotlight back onto the people who are making a difference to our environment and for the benefit of our future generations. Now, I've been told that we're running out of time. I haven't finished, however, I'm going to throw it open. This is Landcare, we're very hard to control, you know that. Would you like me to keep going or cut off? Keep going. All right, I've got one very important announcement to make, and that is this initiative, it celebrates our past, of course, and seeks to grow our future, which is the theme of this National Landcare Conference, of course. In order to do this, though, we need to recruit, motivate and inspire a whole new generation of land carers and build a new wave of bipartisan support. And to rekindle that same spirit that saw ACF and NFF and all governments join together and launch the initial decade of Landcare. So today, Landcare New South Wales would like you to join with us in an initiative that truly celebrates the 25-year journey of Landcare and takes us hopefully into the future. Landcare's big, it's worldwide, and we need to acknowledge it as such. Today, we'd like to present you with a really bold idea, and that is to create the Landcare Caring Hands as a living logo. We want to plant thousands of seedlings in a distinct format of the Landcare Caring Hands and a logo so large that it's going to be seen from outer space. So this is a concept for an iconic national project, and we hope it could be the catalyst that generates a new wave of support for our movement and helps a local community network. Perhaps one of you guys in the audience. So we need help to implement this very large landscape scale project. Landcare is about local action, but it's also about big ideas. Once this concept is developed, we'll present it for crowdfunding. And we need partners, we need funders, and we need the Landcare community to make it work. So to get started, I'll invite the government to back it with their 20 Million Trees initiative and the Green Army program. I'd invite the corporate world to bring their corporate sponsorship dollars, but most importantly, I'll invite you, the Landcare community, to get behind it. Help us make it work and where to put it. For instance, we could put it near the dish in Parks. I think that's the dish there, is it? Yeah. The place where the first images of man walking on the moon were beamed to the world. Over 600 million people watched that live. How appropriate would it be that we place the Caring Hands near the dish at a size where it will become the first logo that can be seen from outer space? Think global, act local. Anyway, I'm sure there's plenty of other sites that would be suitable as well, and we'd really love to hear from you and your suggestions. Such is the power of crowdfunding that maybe Neil Armstrong's family in America could contribute to our project at Parks in Australia. So crowdfunding is exciting, it is fresh, and above all, it places the community back in the centre of the frame. The digital platform enables the stories of normal, everyday grassroots groups to be heard and seen. You don't need flash marketing, you don't need a big budget, and you don't need to leave your own backyard to take your project to the world. Our collection will help share the Landcare story. It will be there in dynamic digital format, available 24/7 to anyone, anywhere in the world to look at, unlike the mountain of unsuccessful paper applications and reports lost in filing cabinets in agencies the world over, right? So the project partners, Pozible, Landcare New South Wales, National Landcare Network, the Australian Landcare International are committed to helping groups take up this opportunity. As you heard from Alan, Pozible has attracted more than $26 million in pledges to over 7,000 local community projects over the last 4 years, and I believe half of that in the last year. Is that right, Alan? Amazing. That's an extraordinary achievement and an indication of, dare I say it, what's possible. Who wrote this speech? Pozible shares the same grassroots community ethos as Landcare. We both agree that you just need to provide the support, and local people will do amazing things. I encourage everyone to get behind this initiative and ensure it fulfils its potential as a game changer for Landcare. Please come and talk to our staff and questions and let us know how we can help you make the most of this opportunity, and thank you for the opportunity of speaking to you.
Thank you very much. I need new glasses. I saw the nesting box for owls and I thought it said restrooms for owls. And I thought, I didn't know they were that sort of private. Dear, oh dear. Thank you. That was absolutely fantastic. And if you guys are all debating about where you're going in the future, well, there you have it. That's just awesome. Well done. Because I did notice one of the little things on the wall out there was, you keep talking about the future and we talk about it every year or every conference, where you're going? Well, I think that one's been answered well and truly. Well, the next thing on the agenda is heading off to get our glad rags on in time for tonight's National Landcare Awards dinner. Now, just so that everybody's clear, it's not here. It's at the Royal Exhibition Building